One of the most important factors that people consider when they're moving to a new area is if it's safe to live there or not. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 12 safest Seattle suburbs to help you make the right decision on where you might be moving to. As always, I'm Bryce Greenleaf, local real estate broker here in the greater Seattle area. I love helping you guys out, those of you that reach out to me here from YouTube when you're looking to make the move over here and purchase a home. If that sounds like you, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to see what I can do to help. But like I said, this video is going to be about the safest suburbs in Seattle. Now, a lot of you that watch my videos here, most of you I'd say aren't necessarily looking to live in Seattle proper. You want to be in one of the outlying suburbs. So that's what this video specifically is going to focus on. Now, in the Seattle metropolitan area, we've got 3 different counties: King, Snoqualmie, Pierce County. There's over 70 different suburbs in this area. So I've got 12 on my list right here of the safest areas to live. Now, this is not my personal opinion on what the safest areas are. This comes specifically from an article done by SafeWise where they evaluated both property crime and violent crime in every city through Washington state, and they determined the 20 safest cities in the state of Washington to live in. Out of these 20, 12 of them are in the Seattle metropolitan area, so I want to go into those ones for you specifically. All right, now the first one here is Sammamish. Now, Sammamish is located about 20 miles east of Seattle. Population in Sammamish is just over 65,000. It's a pretty good-sized area. There's a lot of people that have moved over to Sammamish that are taking tech jobs, high-paying jobs, whether they work at Microsoft or Amazon or TikTok or any of these areas, or they have a finance job, high-paying medical job. There's a lot of money in Sammamish. It's one of the most expensive places to live in Washington state. The median home price currently in Sammamish is $1.85 million. Now, for those crime rates, out of every 1,000 people, there's 0.6 incidents. For property crime rates, every 1,000 people, there's 9.3 incidents. All right, city number 2 here on the list is Kenmore. Now, Kenmore is about 15 miles north of Seattle. It's much smaller than Sammamish. Population is about 23,000 people, and the median home price here in Kenmore is about $1.3 million. So as you get into Kenmore, this is right next to where I grew up as a kid, and it's a really kind of an unknown area, especially for those people that are moving here from out of state. You likely haven't heard of Kenmore. It's this tucked away little city, not a lot of businesses in Kenmore. You're going to be going to the other nearby suburbs for all of your shopping and stuff like Bothell. So Kenmore is just kind of this tucked away, quieter little community here, really at the top of Lake Washington. For violent crime, out of every 1,000 residents, there's 0.6 incidents. For property crime, out of every 1,000 residents, there's 13.2 incidents. Kenmore is a great location for people that are looking to commute to the east side for work, kind of like Sammamish was. There's a lot of people living in Kenmore that commute to Redmond or Kirkland or Bellevue to take a job at Microsoft or Google or any of these tech companies or any of the high-paying jobs on the east side. There's also a lot of people that work remote because Kenmore is still a very, very pleasant place to live. All right, city number 3 on the list here is Snoqualmie. Now, Snoqualmie is about 30 miles east of Seattle. It's even smaller. Population is a little over 13,000 people, and the median home price in Snoqualmie right now is $1.2 million. Now, this is starting to get to the point where if you are somebody that commutes to work every single day, and you're going into Seattle or the east side, it's going to start to get a little bit longer. And there's some people that move out here and they do commute every day back and forth. Sometimes what I see most common in people moving out here is either they work remote or they go into the office 2 or 3 times a week and they don't have to deal with the commute every single day. Now, it's nice about Snoqualmie as opposed to some of these other cities on the east side where home prices are 1.5 to 1.8 million. Here in Snoqualmie, they're a little bit cheaper at 1.2 million, so you can get a little bit more for your money. For violent crime, out of 1,000 residents, there's 0.1 incidents. For property crime, out of 1,000 residents, there's 25 incidents. All right, now city number 4 on the list, this is Enumclaw. Now, Enumclaw is about 42 miles southeast of Seattle. Now, this is starting to get pretty far away. I think this is actually the furthest one I have on my list here. Population is just under 13,000 in Enumclaw. Enumclaw, but the home price is the cheapest on this list by quite a bit. The median home price in Enumclaw is $609,000. There are not many people that live in Enumclaw and commute to work up to Seattle or the Bellevue area. So most people that live in Enumclaw, very often they work remote completely, or they will work somewhere closer to the south side there where the commute is a little bit more doable. Now, Enumclaw is, again, one of these small areas that you probably haven't heard about. There's not a ton of people that talk about Enumclaw out there. It's kind of set far away. You feel a little bit more isolated from everything. There's a lot of rural country type property out there. So you just feel like you're living a little bit more removed from all of the hustle and bustle that the city and some of the more immediate suburbs will provide. Now, for the crime rates, for every 1,000 people, there's 0.5 incidents, and for property crime, for every 1,000, there's 21.2 incidents. All right, city number 5 here is Bainbridge Island. So now Bainbridge Island is one that I get asked about, very common, and very few people end up moving to that I help when they relocate over here. A big reason for that is because of where it's located. Bainbridge Island is west of Seattle over the Puget Sound. So it's very, very ferry dependent. So for those that want to, either one, they work in Seattle or Bellevue or somewhere over there, it becomes very difficult because you have to rely on that ferry system to get back and forth every day. Also, there's some people that work remote, but they still want to be in a close enough commute to get into Seattle or Bellevue for entertainment and dining and all that kind of stuff. Bainbridge Island, just because of how ferry dependent it is, and our ferry system over here is not great. There can be really long wait times to get on and off the boat. So a lot of people like to avoid living in an area that's so ferry dependent. Now, Bainbridge Island is very beautiful. They have some really cool houses, some very wooded properties, wooded lots. You got a lot of homes with views of the water. So it's a very, very pleasant place to live. You always hear that people that live there absolutely love it, minus having to deal with the ferry all the time. But a lot of people don't even worry about that. They'll drive over on, into Kitsap County and to take advantage of going shopping and stuff there, and they won't even go over to the Seattle area, Bellevue area very much at all. Bainbridge Island has a population of around 24,000, and the current median home price is $1.25 million. All right, city number 6, we're going to talk about another island. This is Mercer Island. Now, Mercer Island is about 7 miles east of Seattle. It's in between Seattle and Bellevue. Now, Mercer Island has a population of about 25,000, and it's a commuter's dream. I mean, you are right in the middle, like I said, between Seattle and Bellevue, so you can get to either location very easily. Now, not to say you're not going to have traffic. Mercer Island has a lot of traffic getting on and off. You're dealing with the I-90 bridge and all of that, so it's not easy when it comes to traffic, but you are, 7 miles from Seattle, 5 miles from Bellevue. It is very close to everything. Population, like I said, about 25,000. Now, the median home price is very expensive. It's $2.5 million, so you've got to have a good amount of money to live here. It is so expensive because they have a lot of really nice luxury homes, and it's, like I said, it's so close to Seattle and Bellevue. So a lot of high-paying jobs very close by. Now, when it comes to those property crime rates, for violent crime, for every 1,000 people, there's 0.9 incidents, and for property crime, for every 1,000 residents, there's 18.4 incidents. All right, city number 7 here is going to be Lake Stevens. So Lake Stevens is about 37 miles northeast of Seattle. Population is just under 37,000 people, and the median home price in Lake Stevens is about $800,000. Now, Lake Stevens has become very, very popular over the recent years. It has grown like crazy. It's one of these areas that has the most amount of new construction homes that have gone in over the last 5 or so years and continue to go in. A big reason for this being in Snoqualmie County, and on the north side of Snoqualmie County, it's revered as having really the best school district on that north side of Snoqualmie County. So a lot of people are drawn to Lake Stevens because the home prices are much more affordable than further south, but they can still get their kids into a school that they're feeling a little bit better about. That's one of the big reasons that I see people are focusing completely on Lake Stevens. It's also got great recreation nearby. Of course, you have the lake right there in the middle of the city, and so that's really nice to have. For violent crime for every 1,000 residents, there's 1.6 incidents. For property crime for every 1,000 residents, there is 11 incidents. All right, city number 8 is Maple Valley. So Maple Valley is about 26 miles southeast of Seattle. Population currently is about 28,000 people, and the median home price in Maple Valley right now is $765,000. Now, I consider Maple Valley to be the Lake Stevens equivalent of the South Side. The reason I say this is a lot of times I am helping out families that are moving over here, and they're looking at a certain price point for a home. They want to be somewhere between $800 to $1 million, but still get a really nice home. They don't necessarily need to live in Bellevue or Kirkland right on the east side, but they want to be able to drive, maybe a day or two a week going to that east side. Sometimes these people work, half remote, half in office, and so Maple Valley and Lake Stevens becomes a stretch for sure to make that commute. You probably don't want to make that commute 5 days a week going to Seattle or Bellevue from either location, but a lot of people will kind of make that sacrifice to get more home for their money and be in one of these areas and commute a couple times a week or work fully remote. So I consider Maple Valley and Lake Stevens to be relatively equal on either sides of the metropolitan area. Again, Maple Valley is an area where people are attracted to because of those schools. They can still get a very good school district, but median home prices are $765, so they can get a lot more for their money. For those crime rates, for every 1,000 residents, there's 1.1 incidents. For property crime, for every 1,000, there's 17.8 incidents. All right, city number 9 is Bothell. Bothell is about 15 miles northeast of Seattle. Current population in Bothell is just over 47,000 people, and the median home price right now is $1.2 million. Now again, Bothell, very popular for people to go to because of the location. You can live in Bothell and you can commute to Microsoft 5 days a week, or any of the companies that I've mentioned here, whether it's in Bellevue, which is very easy to commute to from Bothell, or you're going to Seattle, it's still pretty doable. So Bothell has become very popular for that reason and just how convenient of a location it is. Now for those crime rates, for every 1,000 residents, for violent crime, there's 0.8 incidents. For property crime, every 1,000 residents, there's 22.2 incidents. All right, city number 10 here is a neighbor of Bothell. This is Lake Forest Park. So Lake Forest Park is about 13 miles northeast of Seattle. It's a neighbor of Bothell. Lake Forest Park is a lot smaller though. There's about 13,000 people that live here, and the median home price is about $1.1 million. Now Lake Forest Park is another one of these small cities just kind of tucked in the middle here that people don't really know about all that much, especially when you live outside of this area. I mentioned Kenmore earlier in this video. Lake Forest Park is right next to Kenmore, and those two are kind of a very, very similar feel of each other. Much smaller. They've got great schools, very nice community oriented, not a bustling businesses everywhere. You're going to go to Bothell or Linwood or some other spots for all of your stuff. Not all of it, some of it. There's shopping in Lake Forest Park. There's grocery shopping and whatnot. But they're both located, at the tip of Lake Washington, so you do have lake access relatively close by, and they're just really nice places to live. Now the crime rates for violent crime in Lake Forest Park, for every 1,000 residents, there's 1, and for property crime, every 1,000 residents, there's 20.9. All right, city number 11 here, this is Newcastle. Newcastle is about 12 miles southeast of Seattle. It's actually just basically like South Bellevue is what it is. Population in Newcastle is just under 13,000 people. Median home price here is $1.7 million. It is so close to Bellevue, so if you live in Newcastle, it is very, very easy to get in and out of Bellevue if you have a job in this area. Same can be said to go up to Redmond or wherever here on the east side. So again, the reason that it is so expensive is it's just so close to everything and convenient to everything. Great schools as well is another reason why people like being in this area. For those crime rates, violent crime every 1,000 residents, there's 1.3 incidents. Property crime for every 1,000 residents, there's 19.3 incidents. All right, last one on the list here. This is going to be Kirkland. Now Kirkland Kirkland is about 12 miles northeast of Seattle. It's just north of Bellevue. It's just south of Bothell, what we talked about earlier on this video. So Kirkland right now has a population of about 91,000. Median home price here in Kirkland is $1.5 million. Now Kirkland is growing and growing and growing as much as it can grow. There's only so much land over here. There's a lot of luxury homes over here. There's a lot of homes with great water views of the lake. There's, Google offices are right here in Kirkland. It has a really, really nice and cool downtown area right on the waterfront with lots of shops and restaurants and stuff. So Kirkland is a super, super popular area, both for people to move to and for people to just visit on a nice weekend day and be able to walk around. Great schools, of course, as well. And so because of the location, convenience, great homes, great schools, it's pretty expensive. $1.5 million for that median home price. Crime rates for violent crime, every 1,000 residents, 1.1 incidents. For property crime, every 1,000 residents, 24.3 incidents. All right, well, this is the whole list. So like I said, the 12 safest suburbs of Seattle, according to Safewise and the public data that they pulled to put this list together. These are a lot of the most common areas that people ask me about when they're looking to move over here. So this list kind of matches up with what people are doing on their own research as well. When you're trying to find, very often I hear, I want a happy balance of I can somewhat drive to stuff to do and or my job. It's got good schools, clean, safe neighborhoods, and overall just a good place to live. And so a lot of these places are fantastic places to live. Not saying that some of the other suburbs that were not on this list aren't. There's still plenty of other great spots to live, but these are the top 12 in the Seattle suburbs according to Safewise here. Now, if you're looking to dig further into crime rates and whatnot, check out crimegrade.org. This is a great interactive map where you can just plug in a city or zip code, you can open it up, and then you can expand into this interactive map. You'll see the red shaded areas are high crime, yellow, middle, kind of mid-level, mid-tier, and then green, kind of the safest, according to the stats that they use here on Crime Grade. So this is really nice. You can zoom in and out of certain cities and suburbs, get super granular into a specific neighborhood, and this really helps people further narrow what spots they're going to be looking to when you're relocating over here. So just keep that in mind. Use that as a resource if this is something that's very important to you. But like I said, I'm an active real estate broker here in the greater Seattle area. I service all of these cities. So if you're moving over here, looking to buy a home, or maybe you already live over here and you're looking to buy that next home, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help out with that. Thanks for watching this one.